Oh, don't mind me. I am just preparing for the inevitable video game crash that's about to happen. $699 US. Wow. I can't believe we've actually surpassed the meme of the PlayStation 3 that is $599 US, because they somehow managed to amplify that this year in 2024. God, this video game industry is just a mess right now, with Xbox just pretty much giving up on the industry, and Sony, I guess, being as arrogant as they were all of 2006, thinking they could get away with such a ludicrous price tag. The console industry is just looking to be this grim reminder of consumerism and how much we are getting ripped off. The basic utilities that we grow up with, that we are used to, that is convenient for us, all stripped away because of corporate greed. Sony just recently announced the modifications of a new hardware of the PlayStation 5 library, and that is the PlayStation 5 Pro. It does not have a disk drive, and it doesn't even have a stand, and they're pricing this off at $699 US. $900 Canadian, God knows how much European, and yeah, so we're technically the lucky ones, even though we are getting ripped off too. God, I can't even imagine what the Brazilian tax is like, because no one should spend this absorbent amount of money for a lack of features, for slightly better modifications of hardware that is barely noticeable than the base PlayStation 5 that we have now. Okay, yeah, it has an upgraded GPU for more faster memory, some advanced ray tracing and AI upscaling. And I'll admit, once you see gameplay footage of what you're seeing right now, it does look beautiful. Issue: this is Nintendo Switch footage you're seeing. I've always felt like graphics had pretty much peaked in the PlayStation 4 era. There is actually, no, I take it back. PlayStation 3 era. I've always thought that this looks gorgeous. PlayStation 3 looks amazing. Sure, the frame rate is shit, but at least it looks awesome that the PlayStation 4's hardware can improve on the frame rate. It technically did not do that until the PlayStation 5, but whatever. The diminishing returns for what makes good-looking graphics, it's no longer there. It's like that drive of like realism and high-fidelity graphics is just non-existent at this point because of how advanced graphics have become nowadays. I've never taken into the debate of, oh, what is better, the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X in terms of graphic fidelity, in terms of performance and frame rate and all that. They are both the freaking same to me. What's the main driving point of whether or not I should own an Xbox or a PlayStation? Where are the games? Which has been the issue of what's happening right now for Microsoft and Sony. The games are practically non-existent in terms of exclusivity. And yes, I am putting the PC market at the same time. Xbox is worse because they always come in day one alongside Xbox and PC, because at that point, why even bother having a system if you could have a computer that can easily run it? Well, there's always the price tag, right? Well, if the price tag is roughly like $500, and that is a relatively good entry point for high-fidelity graphics, if you want a functional PC, you could easily build one for roughly $700 that still can output the same results as a PlayStation 5. And it can also do your taxes, read your emails, go to YouTube, it can do everything! What the hell can the PlayStation 5 do aside play Demon Souls? Oh, but there's Stellar Blade and Rise of Ronin and Astrobot. They're PlayStation 5 exclusives! At least until they release on PC 1 year later. Yeah, I know Xbox has been really bad at this, but PlayStation is no better. This is a weird trend that I've noticed with Sony, where all of their PlayStation exclusives come to PC at a later date, so if you're a patient enough player, then there's really no point in buying a PlayStation 5. So this Pro model that you're advertising for, how is that gonna advertise it to those people, aside from just timed exclusive for slightly more grass or a little bit more freckles on your face or some bullcrap like that? You know what I'm doing right now in the year 2024? Playing 2023 games. I'm not saying that this year has been pretty much dead. In fact, quite the opposite. It's still just as good as what it was last year. But 2023 was an amazing experience that I just feel like playing more of those games than whatever is coming out. Like, okay, there's Wukong. I played that for about like 3 hours. I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I will enjoy more of it. But I'm still catching up with that Tales of Arise DLC. We just have way too many games to play, and admittedly, I think that's kind of a downside alongside an upside. It's kind of like a double-edged sword at that point. We have so many options that any newly released games, I think they could just hold off on that for a little bit, because we're still catching up on the amazingness that was older games that I get to experience. Maybe that's just me and my nostalgia blindness, or the way I collect games and play them, because I love experiencing every game as much as possible, and whether or not I take a little bit of time in my day to play it for roughly 3 hours, or complete it all the way through, get the platinum trophy, get all the gamer score or whatever, like, I will value that time, even if it's a bad game. It just makes me not want to continue playing that game anymore. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit of a tangent. The topic of this discussion for the video is, of course, PlayStation, Sony, and their, I guess, arrogance with how they're competing right now. And here's the thing. Nintendo still exists. Like, Nintendo is dominating this market right now. And you may not view them as a specific competitor compared to PlayStation or Xbox, but if you look at the numbers, this is coming close to the best-selling system. The Nintendo Switch is, last I checked, almost up to the Nintendo DS numbers. I'm not sure if it has surpassed them yet or not, but last I checked, it was around 140 million units. And it's still selling. It's probably willing to sell more once the sales, like, start to grow in when the Switch 2 comes out. But that's another thing, like, Nintendo, you pretty much have it easy right now, because so far, aside from, I don't know, maybe, like, takedowns on fan games, which that is a legitimate issue that I will not discuss, maybe in a future video, possibly, but not for now. Nintendo has it easy right now, and they are the clear, definitive winner for this generation. No matter how much you look at it, they have games. Exclusive games. Third-party games. Yeah, third-party games on the Nintendo Switch. Sure, they may not perform as well, but they are there and they are playable. Guilty Gear Strive is coming out this year, and the fact that that is able to run on the Nintendo Switch hardware, that's impressive. It makes me believe that the Nintendo Switch 2 will pretty much dominate and have an easier time, especially since, even to this day, 4 years in the market, Xbox and PlayStation have not come close to the quality that is Nintendo's library of games. It probably doesn't help for Sony specifically that the PlayStation 4 was already an amazing system way before it even launched, like competing with the Xbox One, and the Xbox was like the current PlayStation 5 arrogancy that they had back then in 2013, like with the online only, the Force Connect modules, the no longer able to play used games on your system. Like, can we have Nintendo just like go... Let's have Nintendo do, like, if you guys remember E3 of, like, I think 1994, where, like, PlayStation 1, like, released, it's not released, but, like, was announced, and all Sony had to say was $2.99 to win. I think Nintendo just could easily make a Nintendo Direct, make it 50 seconds, and just show the text $4.99 or $3.99, even better, to just easily, like, sell units. Add that to, like, potential backwards compatibility for the Switch hardware, and yeah, the clear winner for this year, for this generation, and next generation, it has to go to Nintendo at this point. Sony was riding way too high to the sun during the PlayStation 4 era, and to be fair, they deserve it, because the PlayStation 4 was an amazing system. They actually output the exclusivities on that system, like Bloodborne, The Last of Us, all their like first-party titles. Infamous, I think even Street Fighter V, a third-party game, was exclusive to that generation at one point. I don't know, like, what can Sony do to win back the trust of us consumers? Aside from the Sony fanboys that are sucking the dick, the sloppy, dirty 3.5-inch dick that Sony's like waving around. I'm getting too graphic, I do apologize for that. But no, it's true, like the only thing that this appeals to is Sony fanboys that are die-hard fanboys that no matter what they do will just eat it up. You can only have so much of that. Like, just kind of not surprised at the same time. Like, the overall message I want to convey for this video, just so that I can end it before going on a complete tangent. I'm very concerned for the future of gaming, but at the same time, I'm also not surprised that it's come to this. I'm not kidding when I could potentially see another video game crash happening with the way the AAA market is evolving, essentially. It's probably why I'm enjoying a lot more indie titles at this moment. Like, I'm focusing a lot more on that because, hey, that's a lot more fun, they're cheap, and they are an absolute blast to play through. And it's not gonna surprise me either that Nintendo is, once again, just like the shining knights they are back in 1986, rescues the second crash of the video game market with the arrival of Nintendo Switch 2. And again, I'm hoping that's actually the case, because I hate to see Nintendo go down the same pathway that Sony is going through. And I have not seen Nintendo go through the means of greediness, you know, aside from taking down fan game mods, which I don't think that's really greediness, it's just more incompetence. Like, here's the thing with Nintendo, is like, with Sony, they just want money, 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 money. With Nintendo, they don't want money. It's like, these fan games are not hurting anything, and if anything, they're actually advertising these Nintendo games, since, like, Nintendo's not selling them anymore, so why not? But again, I'm going off topic. I definitely do need to end this video sometime soon before going on this tangent. This is all, once again, unscripted. But yeah, what to say other than, yeah, Sony sucks. And I don't want them to suck. I want to, like, clarify that, because I'm pretty sure, like, any outsiders that are gonna take any of this out of context, I do not want Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo to ever fail at their endeavors. I want them all to compete and give us, the consumers, what we want for the fairness that they will produce. Because with Xbox just giving up on the console war, Sony is ramping up to become the new EA of the first-party market. And that's something I'm really afraid of seeing, because that's something that no one wants to see. We do not want to see the video game market suffer because of the greediness of big corporations. Sony does not need any more money than they already have. Maybe. I don't know how much Concord actually, like, made. Because I do know they're, like, hemorrhaging money because of that, so I don't know. Maybe that's why they're, like, overpricing the crap out of the PlayStation 5 just to make up for the Concord sales. Hey, look, I'm just saying, you gotta make consoles and games for the gamers. That is how you move units. You make good games, we buy. That is as simple as that. If you don't make good games, you're not gonna make money. It's really that simple. Like, how does Sony bring back the gamers? Well, Astrobot is a very good step in the right direction. Like, if they could keep that PlayStation 5 exclusive for a long time, then I don't know, it'll help the PlayStation 5 in the long run, but most likely, like, I'm definitely seeing a PC release sometime soon, so that we're still going back to the same problem where, like, Sony just might as well go third party. They're gonna have a monopoly on the console. Well, I say monopoly, but again, Nintendo still exists, so not a complete monopoly, I guess. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on the situation, and I hope that whatever happens in the future, it'll be good for us. Because it sure as hell does not look good.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just making a better investment in my money. And half the budget, too.